in order. Ben, if you would call the roll, please.
Absolutely. Dr. Art Evans,
Here.
Dr. Tom Benson,
Here.
Dr. Melanie Clark,
Here.
Dr. David Firth, here, and Dr. Carol Nash.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of May 17th?
So moved.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the minutes for May 17th, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Motion carries. Ben, you're passing around the acquisitions signing sheet, so we'll take care of that. Anybody have any questions or discussion about the acquisition items for this quarter, past quarter? If not, we'll move right along. For the, we've been asked to approve the live animals policy. Does anybody have any discussion? Well, before we have a discussion about the live animal policy, I just want to thank staff for putting together a great document. It's very detailed. As the director of an insect zoo at the Natural History Museum in Los Angeles many years ago. This is a very important document, and just because much of our collection includes invertebrates, all those animals have to be treated these days as if they were vertebrates. So to have this policy document in place is an important step, and it keeps us in good stead with other organizations. I don't know that we're officially involved with the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, but these are the guidelines that we are following. So that, like I said, that puts us in good stead with the community. So I think it's a bold and worthy step forward. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to discuss about the policy? Any questions or comments?
I remember at one time there was a mention of a particular veterinarian. Is that, am I missing it in this one?
I didn't see that.
I think it might have been an old example of policy, so maybe the general
Yeah.
laws did.
Yeah, I believe that was from an earlier draft.
Okay,
The only change in this version is basically it eliminates the need for the board to approve every care sheet. So basically it's just altering it so that the board just doesn't get bogged down with minutia regarding the animal care, but the rest of it's identical to the one that's approved earlier.
Well, if there's no further discussion, is there a motion to approve the amended live animals policy as presented? A second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. All right. So those are approved. As a last minute addition, thanks for the heads up, Joe. Dr. Hayden Bassett is going to present us with a little bit about what he's involved with in terms of his program and how it relates to modern. I'm completely botching this. Please go right ahead.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone. It's been a while since I've been to this meeting just with Army schedules and other family commitments. So this is a nice opportunity for me to give an update and also specifically connect to one of the new strategic lines of effort within our strategic plan, new strategic plan. And so I want to talk about two items that we've been working on through the Cultural Heritage Monitoring Lab today. And for those not familiar with the Cultural Heritage Monitoring Lab, this is the lab within the archaeology department here where we use remote sensing tools, so satellite technologies, to monitor cultural heritage in both conflict and natural disaster settings. We do this globally. The first thing I wanted to touch on today is that the strategic line of effort that we're connecting with is this topic of how is our science and our research here at the BMNH connecting with contemporary issues that might be a gap in sort of our overall planning as a country or international kind of scientific community, but also issues that really affect people on a day-to-day basis. And so that's what I wanted to talk about specifically with how we're communicating with people, and then also what kind of gaps we're attempting to fill right now. So the first one is going to be our our research reports. So we use a different model in the Cultural Heritage Monitoring Lab. So we do peer review journal articles, book chapters, but where we really invest in is our what we call RAP reports. And these are open access reports that we publish through the Smithsonian. The objective being, if it's timely information, timely findings related to conflict or natural disaster that somebody needs, there's a stakeholder out there, we want to get that out as quickly as possible. So it goes through a quick review through the Smithsonian and is published on their open access publication site. To date, we have about 36 reports that we've published over the past 18 months or so that represent conflicts and natural disaster. And Dr. Kuiper asked me to report some of our metrics from that because it's pretty striking. I joked earlier that maybe it's not a joke, that some of our some of our peer-reviewed journal articles and academic literature receive, tens of reads, whereas our open access reports, as of this morning, have received 44,772 reads over the past 18 months. And so this is a pretty big finding for us in that this is really proving to be an effective way to communicate with stakeholders, whether it's the public, but as you pointed out earlier, it's probably a mix of public media as well as state, federal, local agencies, foreign governments that really rely on this type of information or have never had this type of information before. And so what this looks like is, for example, a natural disaster is in the first 7 days following a natural disaster event, earthquake, wildfire, hurricane, floods, we use satellite detection. We use the sensors on board satellites to detect the impacts to archaeological sites, places of worship, museums, archives, memorials, cemeteries, those types of things. And so it allows people on the ground, responder communities, to immediately, use that as their sort of short list of places they need to check immediately and respond to. Next was a very specific case study that Dr. Kuiper asked me to report on, which was Texas. So if you remember last month, July 4th, Texas floods, devastating to that community there, that county down in Texas. We were in a position where we could use satellite sensors to detect floodwaters and immediately assess our inventory of cultural heritage sites that we already had for Texas and pick up on the about 36 sites that probably someone should check, but also confirm 11 sites that we know were definitely impacted by these floods. And so in addition, following life-saving measures, those responder communities could immediately start checking that cultural infrastructure. And so it included state park systems and archaeological sites and libraries and places of worship. But this was a request that we received from HINTF, which is the Heritage Emergency National Task Force, to do this type of work. And that's a collaboration between FEMA and Smithsonian. And so they were able to get our reports to the responder communities who use them immediately. And so those were the two items I wanted to touch on, and I'm happy to also address my section of the agenda when we get to it.
Okay,
Thank you.
What part of the Smithsonian are you?
This is the Smithsonian Cultural Rescue Initiative is housed within the Conservation Institute within the Smithsonian.
When you say conservation, museum and artifacts?
Yes. Yeah, so they were their own separate entity until about a year ago, but now they've merged within the Conservation Institute at Smithsonian.
Is this under threat of funding? I mean, it seems like a potential target.
It's so the good thing about the Smithsonian Cultural Rescue Initiative is that they are largely funded under the sort of the trust, yeah, exactly, the trust side of Smithsonian. So it's not federal money, it's their foundation and trust side.
thanks, Hayden. And this is the kind of thing that I think is really important, that we have to make that connection with all of our activities as best as possible regarding the research that's being conducted here and the impact on contemporary issues. And even though you know, as hard-boiled scientists know that these other things are important too, and everybody relies on the information in our collections and so on. Sometimes the public and legislators in particular, and potential funders, need to realize that all of these things contribute to a body of work that has immediate impact on things that people really care about and that are ongoing. So, I hope to hear from you more as this develops, because I think that's a real hot topic issue that puts what we do here at the museum in an extremely good light.
Can you send us a link to that rapid report for the Texas floods? Because that's something, if I could talk to a legislator, be able to explain.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll send that to you.
Make sure the Helene stuff, because that's much closer to home, but.
Oh, that too, okay.
Yeah, North Carolina, we did a big response as well, so
Excellent.
I'll send those out.
Yes, please.
Are there any, some churches, which I wouldn't have thought of, are there any other examples that aren't, like, that would be similar to that? I mean, I would, like state parks, museums, libraries, but I was just curious.
Yeah, so we, you know, when we started looking at, you know, and not just churches, any places of worship, we started looking, that was a focus of ours internationally at first, but we realized, hey, why don't we just do the same thing that we do internationally here domestically? And so, things that you might not consider, at first, so beyond that is, we actually look at, zoos, aquariums, and other things, not necessarily because it's cultural heritage, but rather because we kind of broadly want to loop in collections holding facilities. And so, when we do, our international work in Ukraine, Sudan, elsewhere, we're looking at zoos, aquariums, as well as more generic cultural heritage, but also now domestically. We'll include anything collections holding as well.
Do you include graveyards?
We do. So that's a big impact.
Anything else for Hayden? Thank you very much.
Hey, Art, I'll just loop in on your comment about connecting research and collections to contemporary issues. That's with the new strategic plan, we are going to make that part of our lexicon internally. And so one great example of that I'll report for Adam is that we're working with research associate Ray Bernard. We're going through the Smithsonian to make a loan of some fossil horse material from Idaho. And so this was something that was on display, if I'm not mistaken, in the old mammal hall, but was deinstalled and put in the collection. So there's armature, it's fully mounted, composite skeleton. And so Ray, of course, has a very strong interest in horse evolution. So, timeline, our dinosaur exhibit is up for about another 10 months. We'll be getting waterways from the Smithsonian right after that. That's a relatively small exhibit, so we're going to subdivide the exhibit area to include an area where, if all goes well, we'll get this fossil horse and we'll break out some of our own material from Saltville and Carmel Church to supplement it. But a message that will come out of it is a rapidly changing world, right? And how even though people do say that, you know, Earth is always changing, that is true. That's why we had horses here. But it is the threat of rapid change that is causing the issue temporarily. So it's a great example of the staff embracing that and moving forward in that direction. Good. Yeah. Excited.
Yeah. Anything else?
I do want to bring up our discussion at the facilities committee meeting this morning. We reviewed a preliminary plan for the programmatic design for the first floor of Douglas Avenue.
Oh, I was gonna ask about that. So this is the architectural
Yes,
drawing, so it's 60%, or it's reached a 60% mark or greater?
I'm not sure what that means.
Well, what we had
But,
discussed, what we
yeah.
discussed is that we were gonna have a joint meeting
Yes.
soon after they reached a certain threshold, which was apparently.
The only thing that I've seen so far is a 4-page document that includes the current layout for the first floor only, not the basement, with a demolition plan and then a programmatic design for it. And maybe, did you print it out? Yeah, and so I can share that with you, Art, and the committee, and I think it does warrant having a joint meeting at some point. I think we're a little behind where we thought we might be, but let's go ahead and plan to do that sometime in the next
Okay,
couple months,
yeah,
after I have a chance to share this with you.
yeah, I'm stumbling here because I'm gonna be gone most of September and first half of October, so let's get together soon and figure out a date that works for everybody as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Okay, great. That was one of the points I wanted to bring up, so that takes care of that.
I will mention that the current programmatic design does include a kitchen on the first floor, but no, at one time we talked about, living or accommodations for researchers that are visiting.
Was there a kitchen before?
Apparently there was,
Oh,
so
okay.
that's why we
Back
can
in the
still
day,
use the
yeah.
state
It's
money.
like it's a staff room that it had
Oh, okay.
alcohol that was in it. to use.
Just a small kitchen, staying.
Which is fine, I'm not
Yeah.
quibbling, I just thought that's great, I just remember everybody keeps repeating over and over again to bring it up to its previous state, we're not doing anything more, so. Good, yeah, well, that's good. Okay. I had a question about the, herpetologist position, where do we stand on that?
The advertisement will go up on August 15th.
Okay, soon,
Very soon.
all right. We had discussed at the last meeting that Marshall had put together this great map of the proposed, how the proposed rooms would be used. And there was discussion about making it a little more user-friendly. And I was wondering if that map has been worked on, or do we have an improvement on that where it's easier to see which departments or what the uses are gonna be for each room? I think the last time we saw it, it was just, these are the rooms that are gonna be used, and there was discussion on how it's gonna be used. I was wondering if there's an update, so everybody can have a clearer picture, just exactly what the current thought is.
It's a little preliminary at this point, simply because a lot of materials are gonna have to be moved during the construction and so forth. So first of all, no, I wouldn't say that we've really made an improvement on the map. But,
Okay.
yeah, it's gonna be an evolving
Sure.
document for sure.
I'm not interested in creating work for the sake of work, but if there's, concrete plans to use certain spaces for certain things, it would be great to have that spelled out on something, so at least we can see how it's moving ahead. But again, I'm not interested in creating things just to have something for us to look at.
The two areas that I could say that we're pretty solid on right now is obviously the central collections area on the bottom floor, and then the auditorium can be a multi-use space. But one of the things that we know that we really can do well in there is to do preliminary layouts of in-house exhibits. We don't really have that capacity here. It's always a challenge to do things on paper,
Right.
and then translate it to the.
Oh, I get that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
those are the two things we're looking at beyond storage, but one of the fine points of the next strategic plan will be creative use of new facilities like Douglas Avenue Pavilion. So
Okay. Well, I think having a joint meeting will help facilitate sharing all the existing documents as they stand with everyone, so that's fine.
Yeah, and the most recent one that I've seen, I think, is the same one that you've seen, where it's basically just got color-coded rooms with paleontology identified and other.
Oh,
other.
I don't remember seeing this
Well,
one.
that's different. That's not the one that Research and Collections produced. That's actually the architect.
Oh, okay. All right, well, it'll be good to see this.
And the other thing that I learned was that this is going to be a phased project. So the architect is working on the first floor, not on the basement currently. And that they're going to do the first floor. So if we can give them feedback on that, that's going to be more relevant to their contract than what we're doing in the basement, my understanding.
Okay. Do you think it's feasible that we could try and schedule a meeting within the next 3 weeks?
Sure.
Okay. All right, well, we'll get
I will
together.
make it a virtual meeting because we can, because
Yeah.
both committees have met in person this time.
Yeah, okay, good, all right. All right, is there any other business, any other business that anyone would like to bring up at this time? Like once? Going twice? All right, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second? All those in favor? Aye. All right, thank you very much, everyone.